A 21-year-old Dyer, Nevada man was arrested on several charges, including assault with a deadly weapon and kidnapping after an incident early Sunday morning in downtown Bishop. Now, according to a press release from the Bishop Police Department, on January 13th at 1:23 a.m., the Bishop Police Department responded to a report of a very upset female sitting in the rear of Rusty's Bar. The press release states that officers arrived on scene and found a female victim badly injured and in need of medical attention. Simon's ambulance was dispatched to the scene to assist with the injuries. Bishop police officers were able to determine that the female had been taken by an unknown male suspect, wherein she was beaten and injured severely. Now, before being transferred to Northern Inyo Hospital, the press release states that the victim was able to give officers descriptive information regarding the unknown male subject, which would be a key component in locating that suspect. Now, officers conducted several hours of searches and witness contacts from the area of the bar and many residences throughout the East Line Street area. Now, officers, along with the assistance from the Inyo County Sheriff's Department, were able to locate the suspect at a residence on the 300 block of East Line Street. The press release from the Bishop Police Department states that Renee Martinez Perez was arrested for assault with a deadly weapon, kidnapping, battery with great bodily injury, false imprisonment, and mayhem. Martinez Perez was later transported to the Inyo County Jail in Independence, where he is being held on a $500,000 bail and is currently awaiting an arraignment. Well, Bennett Kessler filed this report. In the midst of budget cuts, the Mammoth Lakes Police Department might contract with the Bishop Police Department for dispatch services. Mammoth Police Chief Dan Watson told the town council that this could save as much as $100,000. Bishop Police Chief Chris Carter says he is putting together cost figures. Now, Chief Carter said the Mono County Sheriff is aware that he is looking into dispatch services for Mammoth. Right now, the Mammoth Police Department pays the Mono Sheriff's Department approximately $360,000 per year for dispatch services, according to Mammoth Police Chief Watson. Now, Chief Carter said estimates show that Bishop might be able to provide the same service for roughly $100,000 less. Carter said a contract with Mammoth would, quote, help us secure and maintain our dispatch facility, end quote. Now, in these tough budget times, Chief Carter has looked at contracting with the Inyo Sheriff for dispatch services. However, the chief said his preference would be to, quote, keep our own dispatch service, end quote. Bishop Police may be able to work out a contract with Mammoth Lakes by summer, according to Chief Carter. Now, as for his own operations, Carter confirmed he has just hired 2 new officers, but will not fill 2 other vacancies because of budget constraints. Now, the 2 new police officers are Ron Gladding, previously with the Mammoth Police Department, as well as Brady Peak, formerly with the Mono County Sheriff's Department. Now, this gives Bishop Police 12 sworn officers, including the chief, who said budget limitations mean no Bishop police officer participates in the Inyo Narcotics Enforcement Team, and there is no school resource officer. Well, Bennett Kessler also filed this report. The shocking murder of 20 children and 6 adults at Newtown, Connecticut's Sandy Hook School urged school officials in the Eastern Sierra to take another look at school security and mental health issues. Now, on Tuesday, Inyo County Superintendent of Schools Terry McAteer will hold a meeting on school safety plans with local law enforcement, mental health, and school officials. McAteer said that along with several school superintendents and principals, Inyo Mental Health Director Gail Zwier would attend, along with Inyo County Sheriff Bill Lutz and Bishop Police Chief Carter. Now, McAteer said all the schools have safety plans, but the Connecticut shootings made everyone wonder if they are doing everything possible. Said McAteer, quote, we want to respond in a proactive manner. It makes you look again, end quote. Officials will look at the susceptibility of local school campuses to intruders, and they will consider whether they are identifying youths who need help. Now, before the Connecticut tragedies, McAteer said Inyo and Mono schools received a California Department of Mental Health grant, which created North Star counseling in centers at Bishop Elementary and Mammoth High Schools. Now, McAteer said 100 local families are receiving weekly counseling right now. Now, the two superintendents said a lot of these people were not getting services either because they couldn't afford it or their problems were not severe enough to get county mental health services. Now, North Star charges $35 an hour, and some get free services with vouchers handed out at local schools. McAteer said that after the Columbine High School shootings 13 years ago, school officials concentrated on high school students. Now they're looking earlier at the elementary and middle school kids who are, quote, truly troubled, those who are bullied, the loners or angry kids, end quote. Now, Tuesday's meeting will focus on mental health services, but also on what law enforcement has learned about campus security. McAteer said later his office will organize a series of community forums to share school safety plans with concerned parents and families. Well, Bennett Kessler also filed this story. In the new year, negotiations between Mammoth Community Water District and the Los Angeles Department of Water and Power continue, and that's with a court deadline at the end of this month. Now, officials from both sides have met several times to talk about ways to end the lawsuits filed by LADWP. Those suits allege that Los Angeles, not Mammoth Water District, has all of the rights to the water in Mammoth Creek, which is the major supply of water for the community. Mammoth officials strongly disagreed and pointed to their rights allocated by the State Water Board. LADWP has persisted. Now, Mammoth Community Water District Manager Greg Norby said there are no new developments at this point. He did say, quote, we are waiting for confirmation from LA on key items of the settlement principles, end quote. Norby said that the court deadline remains at January 30th. Now, Manager Norby said he is in regular communication with DWP Director of Water Operations, Marty Adams, quote, with the goal of having settlement principles ready ahead of the court deadline, end quote. Now, Judge James Garbolino had ordered the parties to reach a settlement or go to trial by the end of the month. Now, last November, Norby had said at a 4-hour meeting at DWP headquarters in Los Angeles that meeting resulted in, quote, substantial progress towards a settlement agreement, end quote. Now, the nature of the proposed settlement remains confidential. Now, after they filed suit about a year ago, DWP offered to settle the suit if Mammoth Water District would buy the amount of water the community uses out of Mammoth Creek and give it to LA. That would cost around $2 million per year, and Mammoth Water District officials said no. Now, the Water District has hired a high-powered public relations firm to counterattack LA's assertion of water rights. We'll be back with more news.